First, I would like to thank the organizers for organizing this event. Oh yeah, and also for accepting my session about Azure API Management because I am so happy to be with you and to talk about it. So yes, I am the person behind the screen. I am Charot Hamid and I am a cloud DevOps engineer and a Microsoft Azure MVP and I hope that you will like this session and you will learn something from it. Have a good session. I would like to thank the sponsors for making this happen. So thank you very much. So as you know, I'm going to talk about Azure API Management. What is it? And then we are going to take a use case, which is a flight API, and we are going to build our instance of API management, and we are going to try to make the communication between this API and our instance happens. And then we are going to improve our instance of API management by using some policies. You don't know what is it? Don't worry, we are going to explain everything and all of it. And then we are going to secure our instance of API management. So we are going to talk about the networking. Don't worry, it's easy. And then we are going to see how we can monitor our instance of API management using application insights and some policies. Finally, we are going to see how we can deploy our instance of API management anywhere. So ladies and gentlemen, grab your coffee and don't move. So what is Azure API Management? Following the Microsoft Docs, API Management is a way to create a consistent and modern API gateways for existing backend services. API Management helps organizations to publish APIs to external, partner, and internal developers to unlock the potential of their data and services. What does it mean? Um, if you have an API or using microservices or using serverless APIs, you may use the API management as an API gateway to expose these APIs to your external partner and internal clients. And you may get benefit of all the all what API management offers. And what does it offer? We are going to see that following this use case. Let's assume that I have a flight API and I want to use my API management to expose this API. So technically, I will have a serverless API using function app and my API gateway, which is API management. So let's go in deep. Well, I've already prepared the environment and here I have my function app and my API management service. So first I'm going to create my function, which will be the flight API. HTTP go. Great. And here, um, so this function is just an example. So I'm going to simulate a flight API. So maybe I'm going to return a duration between two countries. So let's do this. And first I'm going to need so two parameters in the body. Let's do this. I'm going to need the source country and the destination country. Let's name it RC. Oh, sorry. Oh, and the destination one. Great. And here, if ever I didn't send the source country or the destination country, I'm going to return an error message, which will be the following: pass to countries in the request body. All right, for duration. Great. And then I'm going to check if I got these two countries. So this and destination country. Um, Come on, 2 hours. Don't worry, we are going to improve this function by the time. So everything is okay, and I'm going to save my function. Great. So let's test it. Um, no, not name Azure, not this. Um, so it will be SRC. Let's say Morocco. Sorry, Morocco, and the destination Mad Spain. Run up. Good. So we are sure that the function is working and my API is working. So now I'm going to plug my API management so I can do the same thing and expose my function app through API management. So first I'm going to create an API right here. And my API, it will reference a function app. So I have to select my function app, which will be this one. Great. And here I'm going to select the flight API. Great. Create. Okay. Well, not that I'm doing this manually through the portal, but everything is can be automated using Terraform or using ARM templates or even some PowerShell scripts. All right. Here I got my function with two operations, and the one that I'm interested in is the fly API, the post one. So I'm going to test this. Please select an operation. It will be this one. Okay, cool. Here I'm going to need a body. So SRC. Let's do the same thing. Morocco, Spain. Send the request. So it's working. So what we just did is that we create our function, our API in a function app, and then we create an instance. Sorry, the environment was already prepared because API management takes like between 30 to 45 minutes to be created. So I've already created before starting, and I've created my function, my API, and then I plugged the instance of API management with the function app so I can request the function app through API management, and I can get benefit of everything that API management offers to me. So now we are going to add some policies to our instance of API management. And we are going to add the authorization one using Active Directory. And then we are going to add some headers. We'll add a rate limit so a client may send two requests per 20 seconds, by example. And we are going to trace our errors using the on error section like I told you just before. So let's assume that I have a client who wants to send a request to my function app through API management. All right. Um, you have to know that this request, when it passes through APIM, we can do a lot of operations inside what we call the inbound policies. Actually, this request, when it passes through the API management, it passes through the inbound policies first, right? And here we can do a lot of operations such as the authorization, um, the handling the cache, adding some headers or variables, um, handling the rate limit, and a lot of other things. All right, and then this request it passes also to the backend. Right here also we can do some operations such as the retry operation. Like if the request fail, please retry it and go on. And then we send the request to the function app. And when the function app finishes its treatment, it sends back the request and it passes through the outbound policies. Also here we can do a lot of treatments, adding some variables and handling the body and a lot of other operations that we are allowed to do right here. And once it's done, we return the response to the client. Note that if the request went bad, we pass through the error section. And here we can add more verification so we can identify the best the error. All right, so this is how the request is sent from the client until, all right, so this is how the request pass from the client to the function app. So how do the policies look? All right, so this is what happens when a client sends a request to the function app. But how do the policies look? All right, let's see that. So let's go back to my oh, cool. And let's see how or to what the policies look. Here, if I click on an operation, and here are the policies. Actually, it's an XML file. It's an XML code. Actually, it's an XML, and as I told you, there is a inbound section, a backend one, an outbound one, and an error one. All right. So if when when the request is coming, it passes through the inbound. Then we do so our treatment. And in our case, because we already plugged the instance of API management with the function app, here API management added automatically the set backend service to the backend id.net core conf, which is nothing else than the function app. And then it passes to the backend, and here we can do some operations like the retry or other thing if the request went bad. And then the outbound where we can do some other operations, and we have the operations right here. There is a lot of operations like the control flow, the forward request to the backend service. We can also log to the event hub and a lot of other operation that we are going to see after that. And then we got the error one, like if the request went bad, we can do pass through this one to identify the best the error. And let's go back to our demo and see how we can explore the policies to build a cool instance of API management. So first thing first, let's start with the authorization. So we are going to create a server principal right here, your registration. Okay, the name, I'm going to name it netcore right. For the the redirect URI, we need this one. Oh, actually is the name of our API management instance slash docs slash services slash add connect console 002 authorizations code and callback. Once it's done, we can register it. Great. So now we need a password or a client secret. Oh, um, it's created. Please save it because we can't have it two times. So this one, save it up, client secret. All right. And we need also the client ID, which is um, right here. Up. Great. Once it's done, we have to configure our instance of API management. So let's go back to the API management. Here, I think this one. Here, API management. So we can use the Azure Active Directory so we can request our function app. First, we need to configure the OpenID Connect. So click on Add and here give it a name. Connect. Here we need the metadata URL. Actually, it's this one. It's login.microsoftonline.com. Your tenant that on microsoft.com/well-known/OpenID configuration. Right. We need the client ID. I already got it. It's just right here. Go up and the client secret. Great. Oh, don't worry, it will not work. Okay, if you were asking from where did I get the redirect URL, actually it's right here. You just have to copy it and pass it inside your Active Directory if you don't know how to get it. So create it. Up. Great. The provider now is on. Now we have to configure our API to tell it before sending the request, please use this provider as the authentication one. So how we are going to deal with this? In APIs right here, choose our API first settings right here and add the OpenID Connect and select our OpenID Connect. Great. But this will not change will not change the way that we send the request. Actually, we have to add a policy so we can configure, so we can verify the token that we are going to get from from the from the Active Directory. Okay, so right here, I'm going to edit the policy, and actually, I've already added. Second, expand. All right. So here is the validate GWT, which is a policy with the name of a header authorization. If the authorization is failed, we are going to return 401, and we are going to say you are not authorized. The access token is missing or invalid. The OpenID configure URL is the same as the metadata one. We've already shown it. Uh, and now we're going to save this one and test our API. So if we send a request just here, we receive a 401 authorized. All right, great. So now we are going to get a token and to get connected first. All right, no subscription found. Sorry. It's a normal because the service principal is used for API management, not for the subscriptions. Then I'm going to get the token. All right, I got my token. Let's copy it. Great. So it's a pair. And now if I send the request, I have to get a 200 response. Oh, great, 200, and I got the duration between Morocco and Spain once again. Oh, great, nice, nice. And now if I remove just a part of my token, it's a 401 response. All right, great. So now we handle it, and now we can send a request to our function app if we don't have a token. So this is a security layer that we've added inside the API management instead of managing it inside the function app. So now we are going to add another thing, another nice thing. We are going to add the rate limit. All right. I'm going to explain everything. Don't worry. So, all right, great. So now we are going to add another cool thing to our API. Until now, I can send as many requests as I want. Look at this. And this may not be good for our API. I mean, we can saturate our servers. So we are going to limit the number of requests that we are going to send by time. All right, so here we are talking about the rate limit. So let's go back to our API management and let's add a new policy called the rate limit. All right. So here I'm saying the rate limit by key is the policy, and I'm telling it only allow 2 calls per 60 seconds. I mean, each client it will send only 2 requests per 60 seconds. And how to separate the clients? Here we use a key, all right? And in my case, I'm using the IP address as a key. Actually, if you use the syntax, we got the right to use the object context that request, right? So now if we save this one, all right, because I got a bad syntax. All right, great. So now my IP management is all right. Let's go ahead and test our rate limit. So now if I send the first request, it will be okay, and the second one okay, and up. Yes, rate limit is exceeded. Try again and 1 minute. All right, great, cool. So now we've added the rate limit. Let's add another thing. Now I want to know who is or who sends the request, right? So I'm going to need the client's IP. To do this, I'm going to add a header to my API management. So I'm going to add this policy. So let's go back to the API management, which is right here. All right, great. And let's add the client's IP. Once again, if you use this syntax, we got the access to the request object, all right? So let's save this one. Great. Oh yeah, let's just explain this one. The set header, it adds a header a little bit like this one, the authorization one, but automatically in the policy, all right? And here, um, I'm naming it client IP, and if it exists, it's just override it with this IP address, all right? So I'm going to use this one, and here, the flash API. Oh, sorry once again. Here in my function app, I have to edit it, to change it, and to add my client IP. All right. So here, client IP receive request dot I guess headers and client IP. All right. And here, I'm going to show the client IP. Oh, cool. All right, nice. So now let's test this one. I hope I saved it. No. All right, great. Looking for Postman just right here, and let's send a request. All right, nice. And here I got my client's IP also. Now let's assume that I have an error in my instance of API management. We're going to see how to monitor it, but before it, we have to add some policies that will help us to improve the monitoring. So we need all these things. I'm going to explain them, and let's go back to my instance, and right here in the policies on error ones. Okay. So there are a set of headers, and each header has its own value. So the source of the error, the last error, the reason, the message, the scope, the section, the path, and the policy ID that did not work, and also the status code. All this uh, may help us to improve our monitoring and all right, great. So now we've seen our API management in action. We've added the authorization, the headers, the rate element, and some error tracing. All right. So let's talk about the networking part. Um, until now, you have to know that our instance of API management is exposed on the internet, and I don't think that the security team will like this because just think about it a moment. The whole world will have access to our API, and it can contain some critical information that we have to secure. So the idea is to protect our instance of API management and put it inside a virtual network so only our virtual machine may have access to it. And another thing about the function app. Until now, we are using API management to send requests to our function app. But until now, we can send a request directly to our function app. Think that the security team will not like also. Why? Because we can bypass the policies, we can bypass the authorization and all our headers. And we may avoid this without writing a single line of code. So how to deal with it, how to do it? It's easy. First, we have to restrict every external calls on the function app and allow only the API management to send requests to our function app. And since our API management is inside a virtual network, only the VMs that have access to this virtual network may request our instance of API management. So we're going to see all this throughout the demonstration. Don't move. So let's go to our instance of API management and click on the virtual network tab right here. All right. Here you can select a virtual network um, and you have two manners of to do it. The first one is the external one. It means that our instance of API management will be related to our virtual network, but it will be exposed publicly in the internet. The other solution is the internal one. Our instance will not be publicly exposed, but only within the virtual network. So only the resources that are within the virtual networks or that have pairing with the virtual network may access to it. So since our security team was clear, we have to use the internal virtual network. So just select it and click on save. Note that changes can take from 15 to 45 minutes to apply, so it will be it will take time, but don't worry, it will work. So actually, I've already created the virtual network, and I've already clicked on the internal and saved it. All right. Great. So now let's go to our function app to restrict the external calls. So let's test it first right here. All right. Right now I have access to my function app. All right. So I can request it directly and we can test it um, like where is my function? All right, let's click on functions, flight API, and then code and test. And here, let's get the function URL and let's check the function. And here, let's send a request. All right. By sending this request, I will receive a response from my API. Thank that the security will not like and did not like. So we have to change this and restrict the calls only from the API management. So let's click on networking right here, and there is access restrictions. All right, and here um, let's add a rule and let's call it allow API management network. All right. And here it's allow one and let's give it the priority 100. And here, please select virtual network and select the VNet of API management and this one. All right. All right. So the role has been added. And now let's test our function app once again and for O3 forbidden. All right, so we don't have access to our function app directly. All right, sounds great. And now let's test please our API management and it should not work. All right. Well, it's not working, taking too much time. All right, it didn't work, could not get any response. All right, which is what we wanted. We don't want to expose our API in the internet, so we can request only from our virtual machines, and we don't want that our function app may be requested from the internet directly. Great. Now let's go to our virtual machine. I actually created one and put it in the same VNet in another subnet in the same VNet as the API management. Where is it? I may have it right here. So let's get connected. to our virtual machine. Oh, all right. Yeah, actually, I've deallocated the virtual machine. Let's wait for it. Great. So now let's connect to the virtual machine. All right. Great. It's taking time. Oh, and why? Oh, okay. Oops. I'm sorry. I don't remember my passwords. All right. Great. Um, cool. So here we are. What? It's coming. Don't worry. So now here we are in the virtual machine. So let's test our API. Let's click on send, and I don't think it's working, which is a normal case, because here, if we try to ping to our I mean instance of API management, we will say that it could not find the host netcoreconf.azure.net. All right. So what we have to do is to get to edit the host file right here with the notepad, and pass our instance, and then get the instance IP. All right. The IP is just somewhere here, properties, and this is the virtual IP, right? Which is a normal thing because our instance is not exposed, so it's using an internal load balancer. So we have to specify which is the private IP of our instance. Let's save it, and let's test the Postman once again. And now we got a 200 response, and we got our IP, private IP, and the duration between nothing and nothing, because um, I don't think that it was well noted. Send it, and here we are. The duration between Morocco and Spain is 2 hours. Great. So now we've created a secure instance of API management, and we also created a secure, a secure function app that will be only be accessed from our instance of API management, and the security team is so happy about it. And now, please, let's go to the next chapter, which is the monitoring of our instance of API management. All right, great. And now let's complete our architecture by adding an important component, which is the monitoring. Actually, the monitoring is the key of improving our instance of API management and also for improving our API. All right, so now what we are going to do is to add an application insights and send all our logs to it. All right, so now let's create an application insights. All right, and West Europe. All right, let's call it, I don't know, oh, right. Here we are going to choose the classic application insights. Actually, the difference between the classic and the workspace based application insights is that the classic is the classic one that everyone knows, and the workspace based is based on a workspace of log analytics, so you can get benefit um, of all the Azure Monitor offers, such as the private link. All right. So now let's create a classic one because we don't need a log analytic, neither the private link. And now, so review and create it. All right, great. So now let's go to the resource. All right, nice. Let's go back and look for our instance of API management, which is right here. And let's click on application insights and add our instance of application insights right here and use it as the default one. All right, great, nice. So now the logger is created. All right, you have to know that when we create an application insights, um, uh, we just create a logger. In other words, we have to enable this logger inside our APIs, all right? Actually, when you create the logger, it saves the credentials as a named values, all right? And now let's go back and create, or I mean, enable the logger using the diagnostic API. The settings tab, I guess, I hope. Yeah. All right, here we have diagnostics logs and click on enable, all right? You may also use the diagnostics of Azure Monitor. Here we are using the sampling 100% and it will always log errors and it will always log the client's IP, all right? Um, all right, nice. So now here actually is the additional settings which may help you to get uh, more control on the headers to log and the headers to not log. All right. So now let's save. All right, nice. It's saved. Great. So now we may go to our, oh yeah, which is private, so we can't send a request from here. So let's send a request right now. another one, another one, too many requests, why not, another one, and another one. All right, we send too many requests. It takes like up to 5 minutes or 3 minutes to log our to log to application insights. All right, once it's done, let's check now our application insights, which will be just here somewhere. Okay, yeah, here is it. Click on logs, get started. All right, thank you. No, thank you. And now let's look for requests of the past. And as you see, we got all our requests right here. So you can get benefit of all what application insights offers. Like for the web applications, you may use it to debug your instance of API management. So now let's think last. So let's see how we can deploy our instance of API management anywhere. The idea is that I'm going to take my instance of API management, which is right here, which will created the whole session, and I want to deploy it on my virtual machine. All right. So how we can deal with it? First, go to the gateways right here, and let's try to add one. Let's name it. All right, and here virtual machine. I don't know which one, but and I want to add my .NET Core Conf and Eco API. All right. Oh, great. So now my instance of API management or my gateway is created, but it is not deployed inside a virtual machine. And here you can check the status, which got 0 nodes. All right. So to deploy it, let's click on the deployment tab right here. And actually it gives you two deployment scripts, which are Docker and Kubernetes. In our example, we are going to see the Docker one. The Kubernetes, I've already written an example about it, and you can check it on my blog. All right. First, we have to download the environment configuration, and let's take it to our virtual machine, which is right here. All right, so now we have to run the command that they just give us right here, and let's run. Oh, all right, great. So let's check our containers. Sorry, my bad. All right, nice. Now we can check the logs of our containers. Docker logs netcore the container name, of course. All right, nice. So now if we check this one, we're going to see that our API management is started and everything is ready. All right. So now let's check once again Postman. Nice. And now instead of sending the request right here, well, I'm going to send it to the local host, all right? All right. I got the same response, which is 401, and now let's get a new token so we can. All right, let's modify the token right now. Let's get it from here. I mean, no, from here. Got it. Bye. Passed. And let's send the request. And of course, I got the 200. And here, too many requests. All right, right now we got too many requests. I want to remove this rate limit. All right. If you remember, I've only the right to send 2 requests. Okay. So now let's go to the Azure portal and let's check our API management instance. And I will remove my policy. And here I'm going to remove everything. All right. So let's save it. Nice. Let's test this once again. The second time and the third time it's still okay. So please note that every modification you made in the policy in the API management instance, it's made also in real time in our container in our self-hosted API management. So that's all what it concerns the self-hosted API management. And let's continue then by thanking our sponsors once again. Thank you. And I hope you've enjoyed this session. And gracias, Spanish. I know that it means thank you. And if you need more information, más información, I don't really speak Spanish, but I'm trying and I'm learning because I really like this language. Please send an email to info@netcoreconf.com or just follow them in Twitter netcoreconf or visit their website netcoreconf.com, of course. So, ciao.